2K Sports pregame show.
Here we are with Kenny the Jet Smith and the Big Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal, Ernie Johnson. You're watching the NBA on 2K Sports. Tonight, it'll be the San Antonio Spurs up against the Miami Heat. For Miami, they've only come out in front in one of their first 3 games so far. So a win tonight will be important to them, to be at 500 instead of 3 games under. And we'll be watching the big man Brook.
2K Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the NBA.
It's the NBA and before. All right, David, thanks. And an exciting start to the year, but a long way to go. If you're a veteran player, how do you pace yourself?
Well, you asked the coach if you could have a night off here and there. We've seen, obviously, the league going to this, Kevin, making sure that physically the players have the most that they can have come postseason and not get overextended during the regular season. And then if you know the game well enough, Kevin, there's certainly ways throughout the course of a ball game to know when it is you can exert yourself and then pull back a little bit. And that doesn't mean that the guy's not playing hard or competing. It just means that there's a little bit of smartness with regards to how he's approaching each and every contest.
All ready to go. Let's check out who's on the floor. Kurt Whiteside sets the pick for Waiters. Just 3 to shoot. He used that pick to get in close.
Terrific screen from Whiteside. Sometimes sacrificing your body and using your size on the pick will get your teammate open.
Nance a screen. Green kicks to Leonard. Over Johnson. Kawhi Leonard again.
And defensively, this is a nightmare. He's already on a roll.
I love his will, his take charge attitude, the aggressiveness, all of that showing up here in the first.
Now here's Johnson to the middle. Here's Whiteside off on the layup.
And that's just good offense. Surprised he blew that one, and the defense is too.
Hill passes to Leonard. Nance a screen. Green dishes to Leonard. Nance sets a screen for Leonard. Over Johnson. Leonard, no luck.
I like the defensive effort. They did a good job altering the mid-range shot and then making the shooter feel a bit uneasy.
Johnson the screen. Waiters with the ball. Right side a screen. Richardson for 3. Miami keeping it alive with a new 24.
And right now they're like a light switch in the off position. 1 of 5 so far. Not an ideal start.
And here is Hill. What a tremendous game he played against Toronto. Plumlee with a screen on Richardson. Leonard against Richardson. Basket good. And it's 6 points for Kawhi Leonard.
High percentage look for Kawhi there. He's developed such good touch inside. That one's automatic.
Right side a screen. Richardson against Leonard. Richardson missing again.
Well executed. Great rhythm. You've got to finish that one.
Well, it's like Thanksgiving out there, carving out space off the screen. Just couldn't complete the play.
Here's Dragic following the 3-pointer by San Antonio. And first quarter, we're about 3.5 minutes in. Now, here's Whiteside. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. And a slam dunk by Richardson.
I like to see Richardson up there and finishing strong.
Hill kicks to Leonard. Over Richardson. Leonard, no luck.
The human aspect of basketball. You cannot fault the shot selection. He had a clean look. You just can't make them all.
Waiters on the wing. Guarded by Green. Green against Waiters. from downtown, drops in the tray. Waiters got 5.
Let's face it, with this guy, it is bombs away every chance he gets. You got to get up on Waiters.
Here's Leonard. Looks good, is good. Bucket number 4 from the field. He's taken only 6 shots.
He has created some terrific opportunities for himself and really made the most of it.
Right side a screen. Waiters for 3. Does not find the mark. He's made 2 and missed 1 now. Now Hill. Nance a screen on Johnson. Dishes it to Plumlee. Leonard against Richardson. Leonard kicks to Green. Here's Hill. Good, and it's Green picking up the assist.
And the story here, Kevin, early on is how well they've shot the basketball.
And Danny Green, undrafted out of North Carolina. He's been a linchpin of the Spurs' great defense over his career.
You know, 6'6" with that 6'10" wingspan. This is a guy that can block shots like a big man, guards 3 positions, and one of the guys that we call the prototype when you talk about that 3 and D wing player.
And he makes the first. Brent, last season you can think of several huge plays and big shots for Dion Waiters. He had a handful of game winners for his team, and one thing Waiters has is the confidence to take that last shot with the game on the line.
Well, I remember the quote from Waiters where he said, I'd rather go 0 for 30 than 0 for 9, because if you go 0 for 9, that means you stop shooting. I guarantee you any coach he plays for would have him stop at 0 for 9. But the confidence is there always for Dion Waiters.
Now here's Green. Here's Leonard. A tad short, but it's good off the front iron. Leonard's got 10 points.
This guy is just shredding the defense right now. He's hitting any shots he's putting up.
Here's Richardson. Whiteside, a screen on Hill. Here's Dragic. Rebound, San Antonio. Plumlee's got his 3rd rebound tonight. Here's Leonard. So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the contact right there. And Kawhi Leonard, the only player other than Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon to be an all-star starter. Greg win the Defensive Player of the Year and win a Finals MVP award.
And Kevin, I think it's fair to say that's some lofty company to be in. You know, you're worried with the retirement of Tim Duncan. Would the Spurs go through a lull? And they found another two-way superstar to kind of build their team around, much in the same in terms of mannerisms as a Tim Duncan. Shooting 2.
No good on the free throw. The Spurs offense, one of the most efficient in the NBA. It's all predicated, Greg, on motion.
And it's ball movement and player movement. They kind of want to warp the defense and force mistakes, and that's when they strike.
And he's good on the second.
Getting to the foul line more and more these days. Kawhi has become the complete package.
Waiters passes to Whiteside. Back to Waiters. And Waiters with the stuff.
A power flush with a long hang on the rim at the end of that.
That could be a catalyst for him. It really could. He shot 2 free throws in the game, made 1 and missed 1.
He struggled mightily at the free throw line in their last game.
Free throw, good. Waiters.
And probably the one constant of this Miami team the last few years has been their defense. They do a great job of making life difficult for opposing shooters, and it's been anchored by one of the best shot blockers in the game with Whiteside.
Now here's Leonard. He had a 27-point outing in their last game against Toronto.
He also did a masterful job in that game of drawing a lot of fouls, so he's creating havoc for the defense.
Here's Waiters. Kawhi Leonard making his last shot. Whiteside a screen on Green. Whiteside a screen. Leonard with the steal. He's feeling it. The rebound by Johnson. And the Miami defense is more than just Whiteside blocking shots, as you might say. Greg, they do a great job of limiting opponents' threes.
Yeah, they challenge the three ball as well as anybody. Both contest the shot and close out to deny the attempt from even being taken. This roster does a great job of taking away space from shooters.
Nice work there coming off the screen.
He used that screen to perfection and got a wide open look to knock down the jumper.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game. This game coming on the heels of their win against Toronto.
And their aggressiveness on D, for me, it felt like that was the advantage that turned the tide for them.
Well, fast and physical, sometimes you can get lost if you get out of whack. They had great discipline on that end of the floor, and that led to some key stops, and they got the win.
And some changes here for the Heat. Justice Winslow, he's checked in for Richardson. Ellington comes in for Waiters. And it's Johnson in for Goran Dragic. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Lopez, he's checked in for Plumlee. Gasol comes in for Nance. Roberson, he's checked in for Danny Green. And it's Mills in for Hill. Now here's Mills. Gasol a screen. Jumper off the screen. Mills can't hit. The Heat trail by 5. Johnson dishes to Ellington. He kicks it to Whiteside. Johnson outside. Whiteside sets the pick for Johnson. Over Mills. He hits the back iron and sinks the shot. Johnson's got his first bucket of the night.
I appreciate that jump shot from Tyler Johnson, just measuring that one off.
Here's Leonard. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. They get Hassan Whiteside.
And you don't ever want to get into the habit of letting the offense get to the rim.
And the Spurs got Kawhi Leonard to be the next Bruce Bowen. But from his rookie season, I think Pop realized, Brent, he could be the face of the franchise.
Well, it's amazing that they had talked with that kind of regard for Kawhi Leonard after making the draft day trade and sending away George Hill. They felt like Kawhi Leonard could make that kind of progression. Now, I would also tell you that they had no idea he would become one of the more devastating players on the offensive end of the floor. But the work ethic was there, the size was there, and the fruits of the labor are paying off.
Both free throws good from Kawhi Leonard. The Heat trail by 5. Johnson kicks to Johnson. He feeds it to Ellington. Second chance effort. Right side. Lopez with the block.
Look, if they want any shot at winning this game, he has to be better out there.
And Mills kicks to Gasol. Good looking screen by Gasol. The 3 from Mills. It's hauled in by the Heat. They're coming into this game off that recent loss to Atlanta.
And really, you'd like to just see more from that inside game offensively In that one, it didn't happen.
And sometimes your poor shooting from the perimeter can dictate, it should dictate, that you go to the inside. Tonight they didn't do it.
Pass to Leonard. It's good from about 19 feet. Leonard's got 17.
This is where all the extra hours of practice come into play. Leonard couldn't be more in sync on that catch and shoot.
Right side inside. Lopez is there. That shot off. And San Antonio will go the other way with it.
Just a little lackluster so far with his effort. He's been very limited due to his poor shooting.
Ooh, he put a little extra on that one.
He does. He doesn't usually finish soft either. Obviously, he can when necessary, but not that time. Now here's Winslow. He's coming off a 10-point game against Atlanta.
And guys, in addition to that scoring, he was absolutely tenacious on the defensive end. A complete two-way game for him. Finished with 3 steals, I think, and that was a difference maker.
Johnson's shot is off. Spurs leading by 7. Leonard, the pass to Mills. Feeds it to Robertson. Gasol, a screen on Johnson. And that's a foul. It's called on Wayne Ellington. That is his first foul of the game. Rodney McGruder's checked in for Miami. Spurs also with the sub. Manu Ginobili, he's checked in for Kawhi Leonard. 1:56 left in the first quarter. And Mills kicks to Robertson. From the arc. And it's Whiteside with the rebound. Whiteside's got 6 rebounds here tonight. Ellington dishes to Whiteside. Passes it to Johnson. Whiteside sets the pick for Johnson. The shot's good from Ellington.
I just really like how Tyler distributes the basketball, skilled at quickly getting the ball over to the open man.
And Mills kicks to Lopez. Up top, Mills. Lopez outside. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. Lopez a screen. 6 to shoot. Robertson the pass to Lopez. And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here.
And we all know Brook Lopez can score in the post, and he might be just as valuable working from the elbow and running in that pick and pop action.
That's good from Brook Lopez. And Brook Lopez with the ability to face up and break post up.
High post or low. I mean, his passing and shooting ability give him that versatility. He is a load to handle for our defense.
And the Heat making a change here. Johnson's checked in. And Andre Robertson is going to pick up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. .58 seconds left here in the opening quarter. They set the pick. The pass to Magruder. Clock at 6. That 3 off the mark. Spurs leading by 6. And Mills kicks to Ginobili. He dishes it to Lopez. Stolen by Winslow. 3 on 3. Here's Magruder. And they cash in right away with the quick shot. Magruder's got his first points of the game.
There's a good indicator of Winslow and his feel for the game. I like how much he makes a concentrated effort to get the ball right there to the open man.
Now here's Lopez. A 17-point game for him in the win against Toronto.
The other part of his game was the outstanding D. Shot blocking is a huge momentum shifter, and his 2 blocks really turned the game in their team's favor.
Johnson with it. From deep. And that's not going to go. Kawhi Leonard has been on display for San Antonio. They kept going to him again and again. And he delivered with a monster quarter. We've got more in store for you right after this. And forward James Johnson battled his way back into the...
I play the game how it's supposed to be played.
That's exactly the kind of hard-nosed, old-school attitude that coaches just love.
Kevin, and so do his teammates. I mean, a guy like that brings out the best in everybody on that team. They just kind of feed off of his effort and desire.
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And taking a look at San Antonio's performance here. What do you think they've been doing or not doing?
A huge fan of how they have rotated here defensively, been able to challenge multiple shots.
And if you're rotating like that, it's got to be a great line of communication between all five guys. You see that reflected on the scores, all that trust showing up with the lead.
On the court for San Antonio, Mills and Manu at the guards. Andre Robertson out there with Pau Gasol. And it's Lopez in at the 5, roaming the paint. Now here's Mills. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one. Lopez outside. Shot clock at 6. Inside. And taken away by Johnson. Fires from 14. Shot is good, and the Spurs lead is cut down now to just 4 in the basket from James Johnson.
Now Johnson can be a very effective combo guard when he sees the floor and he fires passes like that to his teammates.
The 3 from Mills. Goes back up. Kicks it out to Ginobili. Good, and the assist goes to Gasol. And the Spurs lead by 7.
As the game has gone along, they've gotten more and more aggressive on the backboard.
Winslow kicks to Magruder. The dish to Johnson. Johnson outside. Kicks it to Johnson. Just 4 to shoot. The 3. Ginobili grabs the board. Spurs leading by 7. Pass to Mills. The feed now to Lopez. Dishes it to Ginobili. Gasol inside. Covered by Winslow. 2 points. That one goes. Gasol's got his second basket of the game.
Gasol is an accomplished scorer on the inside. Tall, long, crafty, smart. Should I go on?
Now here's Ellington. 11 points for him in that last game against Atlanta. Johnson with a screen on Ginobili. Johnson kicks to Ellington. Heat moving the ball around. Here's Magruder. Not really his range, and it's off target. Spurs have gone 3 of their first 5 shots to drop here in the second quarter. Now here's Mills. Tight defense on him. Lopez dishes to Mills. The second effort. And another shot. Pau Gasol again. And now an 11-point Spurs lead.
You know, he didn't score the ball much in the first quarter, but he has been really, really solid during the second quarter. I expect a big game from him now.
Right now, Brent, so much ball movement is perimeter based, but as defenses have adjusted, do you think we'll see more offense run through the post again like we did before?
I think what we're seeing, Kevin, is that post-up play is being redefined by more guards, more guys who draw attention down there on the block. And that's the way these shifts are happening. The offense right now in today's NBA is so far ahead of what defensive concepts have taught you for years that the post-up game, it'll be a few years before we get back to dynamic post-play.
I find that comment you just made fascinating, that it's that much advanced over the defense.
Yeah, because think about it, Kevin. For years and years, you've had coaching staffs and film guys talking to you about the basic qualities of a defense, and that is rim runs for the big, getting back into the paint, and building your defense out. You do that today, you're at a disadvantage on most every possession.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Waiters with the ball. He's picked up by Hill. Johnson outside. They set the pick. Johnson sets the screen for Richardson. And the foul on Larry Nance Jr. That'll be his second foul of the game.
And they can't afford to be that careless. They need him out there on the floor, so he has to avoid fouling again in this period.
Richardson the pass to Winslow. Raiders against Ginobili. Lock at 6. And the shot is good. The Spurs lead has been cut down now to just 9 in the bucket from Dion Waiters. Hill kicks to Nance. Outside, Ginobili. It's hauled in by the Heat. Richardson dishes to Dragic. Johnson with a screen on Hill. Pass to Johnson. Over Plumlee. Green with the rebound.
Yeah, the defense cannot afford to be that lazy. You got to be up on the shooters at all times, especially at the mid-range.
Hill passes to Ginobili. Dragic against Hill. There's Green with the 3. Goran Dragic grabs the board.
And just not able to find the target from three-point range here in the second quarter, although he did knock down one in the first.
Somehow, some way, he couldn't get that one to fall from in between. Got to take advantage of the weak defense when you can.
Ginobili kicks to Nance. Hill has the open look, drills the three-pointer. Hill's got his second basket of the night.
The defense looked lost there. Get out your compass. No excuses. You got to guard the perimeter.
And Waiters kicks to Winslow. Here's the screen on the Wayne Johnson. Expanding his range. Miami no good on that time either. Spurs leading by 12. And we've got an update here, so let's catch up with David Aldridge.
Well, guys, Miami's Eric Spoelstra is known for his focus and his devotion to work. How does he stay centered? Yoga. He said, I like it because you have to keep your eyes on your own mat. If you're not focused on the spot in front of you, you'll fall over. And Kevin, that mindfulness translates across the board.
Mindfulness. That's an interesting way to look at things, D.A. Spo is a great communicator. Knows how to certainly get through to his team. Timeout called the Heat.
Yeah, you know, some of it's shot selection, some just bad luck, and they just can't get anything going.
Well, coming out of the timeout, let's see if they go for the outside shot or if they look to go inside, try to build some confidence by seeing that ball go in. Well, the Heat story last year was about some kind of rekindling. At the beginning of the year, really struggling, and then all of a sudden, they just burst into flames. They were right in the playoff hunt after the All-Star break. An incredible turnaround for Eric Spoelstra and his staff.
The Heat making a switch here. Whiteside's checked in. Spurs also with the sub. Leonard's checked in. And here's Winslow. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game. Miami no good on that time either. And the Heat last season, winning 30 of their final 41 games of the season. They would finish right at 500, but they had to work to get there.
Amazing to think that even with that turnaround, maybe just one game could have made the difference for the Heat getting into the playoffs. It ended up becoming Chicago as the 8th seed, and they beat the Heat 2 times last year.
And it's the Heat with the ball, following the three-pointer by San Antonio. Richardson with the screen on Plumlee. 6 on the shot clock. They get the rebound. Whiteside, good. Whiteside's got his second bucket of the game to go.
As soon as Whiteside leaps for that offensive rebound, you just know he's going to finish off that play.
Hill kicks to Leonard. It's hauled in by Richardson. Richardson's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Now here's Dragic. His last outing, 16 points for him. Richardson, no luck. Spurs leading by 16. Leonard kicks to Green. Nance outside. It's Hill, top the key. Outside, Green. Nance sets a screen for Green. Shoots over Winslow. Plumlee tipped back in for two. Plumlee's got his first points of the night.
Well, don't get surprised by that burst from Plumlee. He crashes in for the rebound, has the athleticism, and finishes with authority.
And Waiters kicks to Whiteside. Over Plumlee and misses it off the right side of the rim. San Antonio's gone 5 of 10 from downtown tonight. 50% exactly. Feeds it to Hill. With his first shot attempt, offensive rebound, Nance. And he lays it straight in. And the Spurs lead by 20.
Really strong rebounding on the interior, and he gets the easy putback.
Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time taking the lid off.
Dragic gets the bucket.
But when you have an outstanding point guard that's making outstanding decisions like Dragic does, it can be lethal.
Hill against Dragic. Nance a screen. Plumlee with a screen on Dragic. Stolen by Waiters. He kicks to Dragic. He feeds it to Whiteside. Now Dragic. And the rejection by Leonard.
Let this be a reminder, when you're going up for a shot, it's always important to know where Kawhi Leonard may be lurking.
The Spurs making a switch here. Lopez is checked in. Richardson against Leonard. He makes his 9th shot of the game. He has only missed 4.
And there's that suddenness. Leonard in traffic, inside, still able to explode up and convert.
And the Heat call time here. Brent, we've seen coaches that yell. You've seen some that show no emotion and everything in between. In your opinion, what's the perfect mental makeup for an NBA coach?
I don't think, Kevin, there's any exact science to what coaching can be. And I think the best coaches just have an innate ability to know when to push buttons, how to push buttons, and to do it on an individual level. There are many times that a coach can make the biggest impact with his player, Kevin, taking him aside and having conversations rather than doing everything in front of the team. And I think the best coaches have a pulse of each player on their team and take the time to go and do that.
And a chance here to take a look at the shooting chart for Leonard.
And everything he's touched has turned to gold. If you are on defense, you have to make sure all 5 players know exactly where he is at all times, because if he gets a sliver of a look, he'll get it done.
Now here's Johnson. He's coming off a 13-point game against Atlanta.
Ball movement was critical in this game. It did not stick with any one player, so his passing was on point, and he really picked apart the defense.
Really well done there. Just confident and composed, never in a hurry.
Passes it to Lopez. Lopez a screen. Lopez a screen on Dragic. Here's Hill. Miami grabs the miss. Whiteside's got rebound number 8 here tonight in the game. Dragic kicks to Johnson. Whiteside sets the pick for Johnson. Lopez with the block. Green against Johnson. Outside, Green. Lopez, a screen on Dragic. The drive by Hill. Again missing Hill. The Heat trail by 14. Dragic dishes to Johnson. And it's Johnson again missing. San Antonio's gone 4 of 7 on 3-point shots in the second quarter. Green kicks to Gasol. Leonard on the wing. 5 to shoot. San Antonio again missing. Knocked loose. It's stolen by Green. Excellent D there by Johnson. The Heat shooting 35% so far in the second. They need to move the ball around more and find better looks. Out left to the wing. Here's Dragic from outside. That's in there. Johnson with the assist. Johnson's got 4 assists now tonight.
Yeah, this looks like a pregame shoot-around with all the threes they're allowing.
Gasol a screen. Hill kicks to Leonard. Over Waiters.
You can see the tools that Waiters may have to be a good defender.
All right, David, thank you. And stay with us, folks. We'll be back just after halftime.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody, along with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. I'm Ernie Johnson. Time for the NBA Halftime Show on 2K Sports. The story early on was Kawhi Leonard, who was on fire. He had 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. And Shaq, what are your thoughts on how San Antonio played?
Well, I like it, Ernie, because they're just not.
And that's all we can do.
Welcome back. American Airlines Arena, visible on the far right of your screen in that overhead shot of downtown Miami. Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second half. Big margin on our hands, but we'll see if that gap narrows down in the third and fourth quarters. Kawhi Leonard really has his fingerprints all over this one. Spurs leading by 11. Dragic and Waiters, they're the backcourt. Whiteside is out there with Johnson. And it's Richardson in at the 3 spot. That's the group on the floor for Miami.
And listen, you can't design a play any better to get a look that good. Just couldn't knock it down.
The best players know that is going to happen, and you just can't let it get into your head. That's a shot that you want to take.
Waiters passes to Johnson. 6 to shoot. Over Nance. Right side, Dragic. Second shot opportunity, and the shot is good. The Spurs lead has been cut down now to just 9 on the basket from Whiteside. San Antonio's gone to the three-pointer 11 times tonight and nailed 5 of them. Nance a screen. Green kicks to Hill. Plumlee sets the pick for Hill. And it's blocked by Whiteside.
As soon as Whiteside positions himself, he just spikes that one away. It's like he's playing beach volleyball.
Here's Leonard. And he gets the kind bounce as that one drops in for him. Leonard's got 23.
I don't think anybody around the league does this, but a lot of fans do. Eric Spoelstra won 2 championships while in Miami as the head coach of the Heat. Of course, he had the big 3, but he was the one that orchestrated and got those guys to work things out to become title contenders for the years they were together.
Johnson attacking. Can't connect from short range.
Well, the D did their job there. Excellent contest to alter the close ranger.
And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it.
And taking a look now at stats for Waiters, how he did last season. He averaged about 16 points a game, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. And he can play some valuable minutes on the wing for this team.
I just want to kick back and lounge here because when this guy's hot, it's a love story. And when he's cold, it's a nightmare. So sit back, get your popcorn. Let's see what he does.
Leonard kicks to Nance over Whiteside, and that one goes long. And Brent, I was looking at what you said about Spoelstra and his multiple NBA titles. Less than 15 coaches ever have done that.
I mean, you're an incredibly special coach to be on that kind of list, and you feel like Eric Spoelstra doesn't quite get the recognition from the general NBA public, certainly amongst the coaching ranks. These guys look at what Eric Spoelstra was able to do with that roster and marvel at the young guys' efforts and exploits during that time.
Just 4 to shoot. Drops in the tray. 8 points for George Hill. Just under 2.5 minutes into the third quarter now. Here's Waiters. He's got 11. Right side a screen. Waiters dishes to Dragic. Just 5 on the clock. Here's the screen. Three-pointer. And no good. And San Antonio will go the other way with it. They led the game at 1 point by 20.
They have been board dominant in this game. That's definitely been a factor in crafting this huge lead. How about the passing? They are moving the ball without any thought, without any individual agenda.
Timeout called, the Heat. And with these new player tracking cameras, you see some very interesting numbers. The Spurs, one of the lowest teams in terms of pace and fast break points. And yet, they're one of the top teams, Brent, in average speed and distance travel. How do you explain that?
Well, what they do, Kevin, is every time down the court, they set up their offense and they run through their options. And that could be very frustrating for anybody who's trying to defend it. They're waiting within a 24-second shot clock to have one or two defenders relax, get lazy, and as soon as they do, the Spurs take advantage of it.
A different look now for San Antonio. Andre Robertson, he's checked in for Green. And it's Mills in for George Hill. Dragic the pass to Waiters. He dishes it to Richardson. Whiteside, a screen on Leonard. Here's Richardson. And again, it's the Heat missing.
And getting a hand in the shooter's face, locking down that in-between area.
Just taking on the challenge on every possession. I love defenders who give nothing away.
Plumlee with the screen. Plumlee with a screen on Richardson. Here's Leonard. And it falls over the rim and in. Leonard's got 7 points for the quarter. The Heat trail by 15. Guys are looking for a spark here.
Yeah, a cold stretch offensively, for sure.
Johnson kicks to Whiteside. Shoots. The rebound by the Spurs.
+8 in the rebound differential. One more reason why they're in control.
Mills dishes to Leonard. Back to Mills. Fires the three. That's good, and it's Leonard with the assist. Mills has got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3. Now, here's Dragic, covered by Mills. Richardson with it. And there's the pass to Whiteside. From about 16, Whiteside missing again.
Oh, you just relish those kind of opportunities, and the defense got lucky, but they need to guard that area of the floor a little bit better.
Roberson the pass to Nance. It's stolen by Johnson. It's 3-on-3 on the fast break. The dish to Waiters. Whiteside a screen. Oh, Whiteside in position.
And what an alley-oop. Those two read each other so well.
It's a play I'm sure they love to run. Now, here's Mills. He's guarded by Dragic. And Roberson kicks to Leonard. Over Richardson. And it's Leonard. That time on the assist from Roberson. 30 points for Leonard.
The ball movement on this run has been fantastic and is a big part of why they've been able to get these good looks.
Dragic kicks to Richardson. Shoots over Leonard. Richardson, no luck. Here's San Antonio. They're on a 15-6 run. The feed to Roberson. Nance a screen. Here's Roberson. He's guarded by Waiters. Leonard draws the double. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. And Brent, 14 years in the NBA, you spent about half your time on the defensive end. Of all the guys you were matched up against, who was surprisingly difficult to cover.
It's funny, Kevin, because a lot of coaches would tell you I did not spend half of my time on the defensive end.
Well, I know better. I know better.
Surprisingly difficult to stop, I would tell you, it would be Mitch Richmond. Many years in Sacramento playing for the Kings. He was known as The Rock, and I can tell you why. Running into him and his physicality as a two-guard was very, very difficult to stop. One of the game's greatest two guards.
Sturdy, wasn't he? He was thick. He was hard to move is what I think about.
He was very thick and physical, which was something that I was certainly not. And they also ran a myriad of screens for him on every possession. The most potent offensive player they had was Mitch Richmond, and they would get him open every time. So a very difficult cover for me.
Catching up on the changes with Miami. Rodney McGruder's checked in for Josh Richardson. Ellington comes in for Dion Waiters. And it's Tyler Johnson in for Goran Dragic. The Heat trail by 20. Johnson kicks to Whiteside. Pass to McGruder. Dishes to Johnson. Johnson the screen. Clock at 6. Kicks to Ellington. Shoots. And the basket by Johnson. Johnson's got his second bucket tonight.
I love the level of concentration there. Johnson keeping his eyes right on target, and the D couldn't do anything about it.
They set the screen. And Roberson kicks to Leonard. Takes the 12-footer and hits. Leonard's got 13 points in just this quarter.
He keeps finding great shots out there, and the opportunities are turning up roses.
Okay, well, let's check in with David Aldridge, who's reporting from the sidelines.
Well, guys, Kawhi Leonard has become a go-to scorer, but his focus still starts at the defensive end. He said, my mindset is the same every game. Whoever I'm playing against, I go in and try to stop their best scorer and then try to get myself going on the offensive end. Kevin?
And David, that's what you get with Kawhi. Mr. Consistency, one of the best two-way players in the game. And mostly with Whiteside on the offensive end, he's there to clean up the misses or finish a play with a dunk.
And the footwork of Whiteside continues to improve. He does a really good job of shielding the ball when stepping through towards the rim and gets himself in great position to collect lobs when the guys on the perimeter find some space in the gaps. And that's a huge target to throw the ball up to.
And he makes the first.
Nice stroke from the line by Whiteside. You know, he's only going to get better from there with some practice.
Winslow's checked in for Johnson. Spurs also with the sub. Manu Ginobili's checked in for Kawhi Leonard. And both free throws good from Whiteside.
Hassan Whiteside's journey to the NBA has been a wild one, and you can't help but root for him at this point. Out of the league for 2 entire seasons, comes back as a dominant force with the Miami Heat, and now slowly, steadily becoming one of the most consistent big men the league has to offer.
And here is Johnson. And he got the whistle, so he'll have a three-point play opportunity.
You know, he has single-handedly helped them carve into this lead thanks to his scoring in the quarter.
And Whiteside getting rewarded before the start of the last season. Signed a max contract with Miami, and Brent, the future of the franchise, in the middle.
Amazing that Hassan Whiteside actually became the very first player to ever go from making the league minimum to signing a maximum contract. Wow, big man and a big shift in the economics. You watch the Heat play, you watch their young athletes, and you think about the conditioning of all of their players. Allegedly, they have one of the toughest practice regimens in the league. I don't think guys get too fired up about their training camps, but certainly pays off throughout the course of the season.
And Roberson kicks to Lopez. Over Whiteside. And another basket for San Antonio.
Whatever drawbacks Lopez may have, scoring in the post isn't one of them. He is a nightmare for opposing defenses to deal with down low.
McGruder kicks to Johnson. Pass to Winslow. For 3, Ellington. They get it back. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
A great job by Whiteside there to get himself to the free throw line so he could knock that one down.
And for the Heat, Brent, as bad as the workouts might be, the payoff is there.
Yeah, it's always amazing how many former Heat players talk about going down there and getting ground down. And if you're getting ground down in just a workout, what the heck are the practices like? So this is not a franchise or a team that's for everybody in the league, but that's what the Heat do. They sift through those kind of guys and then find out what Miami Heat players are out there and available, and then they bring those guys in.
Well, he knew how many inches he had over the guy. I mean, let's face it, good decision to just rise up and take the jump shot.
Whiteside sets the pick for Johnson. Winslow kicks to Magruder. Feeds to Whiteside. And he makes the bucket, drew contact, and gets the whistle, too.
This is a guy whose mindset just never changes. Even when they're losing, he's always going to be aggressive.
He shot well from the line tonight, going 4 for 5. Free throw, good, Whiteside. And the San Antonio Spurs, the best bench net rating in the league last season, ranked 3rd in bench minutes.
Well, it's amazing the way that Pop controls the players' minutes. So the starters don't play a ton. The bench guys get enough minutes to play cohesively together. And one of the guys who was hugely impactful coming off the bench last year for them was Patty Mills. And in fact, last year they became the first 60-win team to have 11 different players that played at least 1,000 minutes.
Johnson outside. Whiteside a screen. Shoots off the screen. The putback, and Whiteside stays right with it. Whiteside's got 23 points.
Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
And Mills kicks to Gasol. Good-looking screen by Gasol. The three from Mills. No good. Shot missing. The Heat go the other way with it.
It's just not his night so far, guys.
Johnson in the corner. Mills with the steal. Fires from deep. Drills it from outside. Mills has got 6.
And defensively, you have got to extend to their shooters. They have been on fire this half.
Yeah, and then the fear sets in that you're going to create driving lanes that could lead to easy buckets. This is not an easy fix.
Passes to Whiteside. Here's Magruder, and he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. A chance here to assess what parts of the floor the attempts have been coming from as we look at the shot chart for Miami.
And they've pretty much ignored the corner 3 tonight. It's a useful shot to have. It really forces the D out wide and opens things up in the middle.
A different look now for San Antonio. Green comes in for Roberson, and George Hills subbed in for Patty Mills. And for the Spurs last season, falling short of their goal of winning another title. But Greg Popovich, Brent, still called it a great season.
Well, they had their second most wins ever under Pop last year. 7 new players to integrate. In the first year without rock-solid, steady force Tim Duncan down there on the low block. They did have some injuries late down the stretch, and they can look back on another season where they gave their best effort and put themselves in position to get another NBA championship. You know, we talk so much about accurate shooting. Sometimes accurate passing can lead to great shooting. You saw it there.
Hill kicks to Gasol. Ginobili outside. And that one clearly a foul. Gets the whistle, and 2 shots coming up. They get Hassan Whiteside. For San Antonio, they have been good at the free throw line. This one, 7 of 8.
And when you look at their numbers from a season ago, 80% as a unit, that's something you'll be happy with.
And so he's able to get 1 of 2. And Greg Popovich has led the Spurs to the playoffs in all 20 of the full seasons he's coached the team. But you know what, Brent? He always gives his players the credit.
Well, Pop knows that the players are the ones who deserve all of the accolades. There's no doubt that there's an appreciation for the way that Pop continues to put his team and each member of the team into situations where they collectively can compete every year. And it's not about just competing for the playoffs, Kevin. I'm talking about competing for titles. What a run that Greg Popovich has been on.
Leonard, he's checked in for San Antonio. The Heat trail by 14. Now here's Johnson. There's the pick. He kicks it to Ellington. He feeds it to Winslow. 6 on the shot clock. Magruder passes to Winslow. For 3, Ellington. Rebound by Brook Lopez. Now Hill. He's looking for Leonard and finds him. And finished off by Leonard.
Well, he's making it look effortless. You combine Leonard's athleticism with his skill set and now that confidence. Nights like this are inevitable.
Well, through 3/4 of play, down double digits, it may be difficult to overcome. Spurs lead by 16. And when we return, we'll get the 4th quarter rolling right here on 2K Sports. A chance now to hear Greg Popovich talking to his team just moments ago.
You can't forget about the boards.
And thanks again for joining us. Let's see what happens here in the 4th. The Heat trail by 16. On the floor for San Antonio. Pulling out the wings, it's Green and Leonard. Pau Gasol is out there with Brook Lopez. And it's Hill in at the 1 spot.
And they've had assists now in their last 3 baskets.
Well, Tyler Johnson and his path to the NBA are quite unique. Undrafted out of college, where he played at Fresno State, comes up through the D League, now the G League, and plays a critical role for this Miami Heat basketball team as a force off the bench.
Lopez a screen. Leonard attacking over Waiters. Off target on the 15-footer. The Heat shooting the ball at 42%. Here's Magruder. Solid play in the low block, and that one's good. Magruder's got 5 points in the quarter. For Tyler Johnson, the journey was a quick one. In the span of about 2 years, he goes from the D League, where he played, to signing a $50 million contract.
Well, I also think about, Kevin, the fact that he played in just 68 games before last season. So a ton of belief from the organization that Tyler Johnson can be that guy, capable of coming off the bench, scoring baskets, and coming right down the throat of the defense to get to the rim.
Outside, Green. Pick up by Hill. Green dishes to Leonard. Lopez sets a screen for Leonard. Oh, and a fast break for the Heat. Here's Johnson. Here's Whiteside. And the rebound paying off as they pick up 2 on the second chance bucket right there.
Yeah, maybe the shot selection in the first half took him out of a rhythm, but in the second half, he's making everything.
Lopez, a screen on Waiters. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
With those long arms and with the high release point, Leonard is practically daring you to foul him.
The first one falls, and the Heat with some changes. James Johnson checked in for Justice Winslow. Richardson comes in for Rodney Magruder. And it's Dragic in for Tyler Johnson. San Antonio also making a switch. Nance is checked in. Johnson the screen. Dragic kicks to Waiters. And that's good. And it's Dragic with the assist. 14 points for Dion Waiters.
And nice court vision from Dragic there to get a great look at the bucket.
Hill passes to Leonard. Lopez right side. On the wing, Green. He's guarded by Waiters. And the basket is good.
And that bucket should stop the bleeding.
And here's Miami. They're on a 13-3 run right now. Dragic kicks to Waiters. He dishes it to Johnson. Whiteside, a screen on Nance. Off the screen. Second chance shot. That is good, and the Spurs lead is cut down to 4 on the bucket from Whiteside.
And now you see them starting to really work the ball inside.
Hill dishes to Leonard. Leonard draws the double. Wants to get it to Hill, and does. And the wide open shot from Green. And again, it's the Spurs from deep.
When you're trying to space the floor, Green's the guy you want out there. The defense is forced to respect him from range.
Dragic kicks to Waiters. Over Green. No good off the front iron.
And defensively, moving his feet there, staying right on top of the shooter.
Some defenses are okay with giving up the mid-range shot. In this case, they contest it.
Nance sets a screen for Hill. And Lopez has it in the corner. And again, it's the Spurs from deep.
And when you're down this many points, hard to justify leaving a good shooter that wide open.
Truer words never spoken. Breakdown on the perimeter, D, and the communication severely lacking there.
Whiteside, a screen on Green. Waiters into the lane. Excellent use of the screen that time.
When he gets inside, Waiters sometimes finds it hard to finish in traffic, but he makes the necessary adjustment there.
Lopez, a screen on Dragic. Shot off the pick. That one doesn't go. The Heat trail by 8. Here's Richardson. And the pass to Dragic. The dish now to Whiteside. Now the feed to Waiters. Over Green. Waiters no luck. The Spurs have gone 3 of 6 in the field so far in the fourth quarter. Hill with it. Outside, Green. He's looking for Leonard and finds him. Misses off the right iron. Miami's gone 2 for 2 from three-point land to start the fourth quarter. Dragic the pass to Waiters. Outside a screen. Green against Waiters. Whiteside sets the pick for Waiters. Off the pick. And it's Waiters again missing. San Antonio leading by 8. And the foul on Josh Richardson. That's his 3rd foul of the game. Plumlee is checked in for Brook Lopez.
Into the lineup, Spurs. Mason Plumlee.
Hill against Dragic. Nance a screen on Richardson. It's back to Hill from the arc. And it's Hassan Whiteside with the rebound.
No other way to put it. Just a poor shooting performance for him. But luckily, his teammates have picked up the slack.
Hill against Dragic. And it's Mason Plumlee with the foul. That is his 1st foul of the game. Richardson against Leonard. Whiteside sets the pick for Richardson. Excellent D there from Hill.
And you got to give him credit there. Great effort to contest that shot.
Well, I love the fact that they put the security system on their house, protecting the paint there.
The defense a step slow, and you can see the results.
They've been looking out of sync offensively.
Yeah, their offense has ground to a standstill.
And it's slammed in by Whiteside.
And he's just always an easy target on the alley-oop. With Whiteside's size and wingspan, it's just a matter of putting the ball up there where only he can go get it.
Nance a screen. Green kicks to Leonard. Back to Green. That's good, and it's Leonard with the assist. Leonard's got 5 assists tonight.
This guy is just shredding the defense right now. He's hitting any shots he's putting up.
Pass to Richardson. Whiteside a screen on Green. The kick out to Dragic. And again, Miami with the triple.
Well, he did not think twice. Firing away, Dragic knocks down and sinks the 3-ball.
Richardson against Leonard. Dishes it to Hill. Kicks to Plumlee. Plumlee with the screen. Shot clock at 5. Uses the glass to finish the layup. Green's got 12 points in just the second half.
Well, he hasn't missed yet, guys, and the defense is scrambling for answers to stop this hot start.
Johnson the screen. Dragic kicks to Whiteside.
It felt like he was a little hesitant in the first half, but really he's amping himself up here and battering around to get himself to the free throw line.
And both free throws good from Whiteside.
And really making the most of his opportunities there tonight. Hasn't been the struggle we sometimes see him go through.
Nance outside and stolen by Richardson. And the foul called on Danny Green. That'll be his 2nd foul of the game.
Yeah, clearly he had an established position there.
San Antonio on defense. Their biggest lead of the game was 21. Pass to Dragic. Down low, here's Johnson, and that's good. And it's Dragic with the assist. Dragic has got 4 assists in the game. Hill dishes to Leonard. Outside, Green. Hands a screen on Waiters. The drive by Green. Field goal number 9. He's 9 of 12 with that basket.
Yeah, not sure how the defense is losing him tonight. Green's in a great rhythm, moving without the ball and creating havoc for the D.
The Heat trail by 8. And here's Dragic. Whiteside a screen. And Waiters kicks to Whiteside. It doesn't go for him. Plumlee with some nice D. Feeds it to Nance. Blanketed by the D. He fights to the rim for the layup. And now it's a 10-point Spurs lead.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
Johnson the screen. Dragic against Hill. Waiters outside, down to 5 on the shot clock. It's stolen by Nance, and that's out of bounds. San Antonio will retain possession. Spurs leading by 10. Hill passes to Leonard. Pick up by Hill. Plumlee sets the pick for Leonard. And he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2. They get Hassan Whiteside.
So smooth. The little pump fake, get the defender in the air. As if Leonard wasn't hard enough to cover, he's adding that to his game.
First one falls for him. Leonard hits them both. Now here's Waiters. Timeout called. The Heat. You have to like what we're seeing so far from Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, the defense has not provided any threat to stop him out there, so it should come to no surprise that he continues to attack the basket.
And now the presentation of our Jordan player of the game, Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, and his performance has been a jaw dropper. It must have been feeling great coming into the building tonight, because once he hit the court, it was all working for him. He was in a zone.
And as the star of this team, he knows he's going to be the object of the crowd's anger. Okay, well, let's check in with David Aldridge, who's reporting from the sideline.
Well, guys, during the last break, I listened to Eric Spoelstra address the team. He is not pleased, and he told them they have to make a push right now. He said, look, we got to make a move, or I've got to pull the plug. Pretty blunt stuff, Kevin. Back to you.
Okay, David, much appreciated.
Still struggling to find some consistency as an offensive player, but Waiters does get to the free throw line a fair amount for a guy who shoots so many threes.
Nance a screen. Leonard with no one around. Good, and it's Hill picking up the assist. Leonard's got 42 in the game. The Heat trail by 13. Whiteside a screen on Green.
Inside 2 minutes. Inside.
Now here's Waiters. Whiteside a screen. Whiteside sets the pick for Dragic. Just 5 to shoot. That one no good. Plumlee with some nice D.